Raiders of the Lost Ark is the peak of adventure cinema. It redefined the action genre and put Indiana Jones on the map as one of the greatest heroes in film history. The first three films showcased Harrison Ford in his prime and pushed the limits on how much ass an action movie can kick. Back in the 80s, there wasn't much else to compare them to. What a lot of people don't know is that Spielberg and Lucas made Indiana Jones as a tribute to the old film serials and classic adventure films. Even the poster for Raiders of the Lost Ark says The Return of the Great Adventure. These movies were about treasure hunting and exotic locations. For the heroes, even the fedora jacket and khakis were common attire. If you thought Indy was so original, look at Charlton Heston in Secret of the Incas, or Humphrey Bogart in Treasure of the Sierra Madre, or Alan Ladd in China. Hell, his character even shares the same last name.
Mr. Jones.
These guys were rugged adventurers, sometimes cold and womanizing. They were badass, ball-busting brawlers. Whether they use a gun, a whip, or a sword, they would always overcome far-fetched obstacles and pitfalls. But the true predecessor to Indiana Jones is James Bond, which is no coincidence why the first Bond, Sean Connery, was cast as Indy's father in The Last Crusade. Bond would always find himself in a ridiculous situation where no human being could survive. Set up a trap and see how he escapes. That's what it's all about. In essence, Indiana Jones is like a big-budget B-movie, not meant to be taken seriously. But just for shits and giggles, I'm going to pick out the moments that just tip the intelligence scale. I'll be including the classic trilogy from the 80s, as well as that new one that everybody loves so much. It's Top 10 Dumbest Indiana Jones Moments. Number 10. From Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indy and Marion fight their way through Cairo, which in itself is a great action scene, but two offbeat things happen, one of them awesome and the other one dumb. The awesome part is Indy shooting the swordsman. It cheats the audience out of a fight, but that's the whole joke, and you believe it. Why would he fight the guy if he didn't have to? But here's the dumb part. Alright, we can assume the knife is mightier than the pan. Ooh, maybe not. What are we watching here, Looney Tunes? Number 9, the opening scene from Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Here we have teenagers just taking a joyride. It's very reminiscent of George Lucas's American Graffiti. But what are they doing in the middle of a desert near a secret military base? Does this scene have anything to do with the plot? And do we need to hear Hound Dog to remind us it's the 50s? It sure is a dumb way to start a movie. Number 8, another one from Crystal Skull. I bet you're surprised. And it falls right in the middle of a decent action scene. We have this jeep chase along a cliff. Pretty cool, but I guess they needed something to cut to. So why not Indy's son, Mutt Williams? Can I just call him Jones Jr.? Well, it's an obvious tribute to Tarzan, but they should have left this little moment on the cutting room floor. I guess you could say the filmmakers were really monkeying around. Number 7, from The Last Crusade. After a thrilling chase, Indy and his father managed to escape the Nazis, but now they're on a beach with an enemy plane coming right toward them. With nowhere to hide, Jones Sr. comes up with the idea to use an umbrella to scare up a bunch of seagulls. They smash up the windshield and get caught in the propeller, instantly taking down the plane into a fiery explosion. The best moments of this film were all about the father and son bonding in the face of danger, but taking out a plane with a bunch of birds, it's a fine line between brilliant and dumb. Number 6, let me start by saying these movies are all about the supernatural. Spirits melting people's faces, hearts being ripped out, a leap of faith, a knight waiting in a cave for 700 years, and a man turning into a skeleton. These scenes are all so memorable, but the one supernatural moment that I never cared for was the voodoo doll from Temple of Doom. Indy's in the middle of a fight, and then all of a sudden this little bastard has to do this. Come on, that's not fair. If it's that easy to make a doll and stick a pin in it, then it's like cheating. You might as well not even play. Stupid voodoo doll. Number 5, from Crystal Skull. I had no choice but to add this one because of how infamous it is. In a Twilight Zone-like scene, Indy finds himself in a nuclear test town full of creepy mannequins. Suddenly, a nuclear bomb goes off. Without much time to spare, Indy hides in a fridge. The fridge is lead-lined, protecting him from the radiation. The impact sends the fridge bouncing through the desert. Thankfully, it lands far enough away from the radiation and also lands right side up. Not to mention, it was the only thing in this town not to be disintegrated. You really gotta be a nuclear physicist to figure that this probably wouldn't work in real life. It is just a movie, but people have made such a big deal about this scene, it's up there with Greedo shot first. Mr. Ford, you're just a running fugitive of controversy, aren't you? Number 4. Of course, we're all aware that Indiana Jones movies are well known for being realistic. This scene from The Last Crusade, I'm going to have to clarify. It's great. There's no other way to describe it than one of the best action scenes ever filmed. But the moment which follows is one of the most unexplained, death-defying escapes Indy has ever done. It's a tribute to the old cliffhangers, literally. The whole idea is to trick the audience into thinking he's dead. But once he climbs back up, don't you wonder how the hell he survived? The last time we see him, he's on the tank. Then the tank goes straight over the edge of the cliff. And the whole action's covered. There's no cutaways. We just see it fall and smash. At least in the fridge scene, there's an explanation. As far-fetched as it is, we see the gears in his head turning and watch him make his escape. But here, it's just a mystery. You can't survive a nuclear bomb, but let me tell you, you can't survive this either. Number 3. I've heard people complain about the waterfall scene in Crystal Skull. You think that's crazy? Come on, that could be a ride at Universal Theme Park, except it's Paramount, but whatever. The real crazy scene's from Temple of Doom. Indy and company are stuck on a plane without gas. So what does he do? He grabs a deflated rubber raft and they all go free-falling. Not only do they survive the drop, they go for one hell of a ride afterwards. The composite shots are so obvious, but that's what characterizes 80s action cinema. Next thing, they go over a cliff. You want to talk about unrealistic? You're looking right at it. Number 2 from Crystal Skull. This time, we're not talking about little stupid nitpicky moments. We're talking about cheap writing. The moment that strikes me as just plain stupid centers around this character named Mac. As the movie begins, it's established that Indy and Mac are longtime partners, but almost right away, Mac double-crosses him, revealing that he's working for the Soviets. After nearly getting killed and then blacklisted, Indy actually makes friends with them again. Now, Mac claims to be a double agent who's working against the Soviets all along. But nope, he's still on their side.
Sorry, Jonesy.
So what are you, a triple agent?
No, I guess he's more like a double agent, but you were dumb enough to trust him twice. Now for the number 1 dumbest Indiana Jones moment from Temple of Doom.
Trying to pick my pocket, didn't I, short stuff?
What can I say about this? You'd think there were slasher villains popping out of the woods. It's not Jason Voorhees or anything, it's a fucking owl. Jeez, what the hell's her problem?
Hey, you cheat, Dr. Jones, you cheat.
And they're in the middle of the woods playing cards. Why is it such a big deal if he cheats? Don't they have bigger worries? With this ridiculous female stereotype and slapstick humor, it's almost as if this entire scene was thrown in just to be stupid. And that's why it wins the Golden Trophy, hands down. That is some dumb shit. Final words, the Indiana Jones movies are all entitled to some dumb moments. They recapture the spirit of the old adventure films that came out during the Great Depression and World War II. Audiences were looking to escape the real world and forget about their troubles. And that's what movies are all about, entertainment. But today, audiences are far more critical, have less imagination, and aren't as willing to suspend their disbelief. And that is the death of cinema. So I hope there's somebody out there who still embraces that old-time B-movie feel, and that filmmakers aren't so discouraged to try and recapture the spirit of this cinematic pastime. Long live the Saturday matinee.